Hello and welcome to class. Today's class is called Core Blast. So as you can imagine, we're focusing on our core today. So your core is everything but your limbs. So from your pelvic floor all the way up to your outer shoulders, all of that in between, especially the muscles that attach to the spine, that are closest to our spine, that all is your core, your deep core muscles. A way for you to kind of remember what the core does for us, my teacher came up with the acronym for CORE, C-O-R-E, conduit of renewable energy. So the energy that we receive from the outside world has to come in through our limbs, so our hands and our feet, our legs and our arms, and then it has to be harnessed into our core. So we want to make sure that our energy that we're receiving from the outside world is coming in a nice, even, smooth fashion. So we don't want any leakages of energy. We want to hold on to the energy that we're cultivating throughout our class and tap into this feeling of lightness so that we can move with ease around our mat. So in order for energy to flow freely throughout our body, we one, need to be able to harness it, but then two, we also need to be organized so that we can accept that energy. So tapping into this feeling of lightness, tapping into feeling of organization, and really connecting with our deep core throughout our class today. You will need 2 blocks. We'll come to half moon in our class today, so you can use your blocks if you need them. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started in a nice tall seat. You can gently close your eyes, soften your gaze, find what feels comfortable to you. Then take a moment, check in with your posture, notice how you are inhabiting your body. And then let's adjust that a little bit. Because again, for energy to travel into our body, to be able to move throughout our body, we need to be organized. So that goes hand in hand with a nice neutral posture. So send your ears over your shoulders, chin in towards your throat, your shoulders over your hips, sitting tall, sitting proud. Bring your right hand to your low belly. Your left hand can come around to your sacrum. Your sacrum is the back of your pelvis. It's a nice flat bone. It's below your lower back. You should be able to feel it. Then you want to sandwich your hands together, right away tapping into that feeling of lightness and organization. It's almost like you're trying to squeeze that last bit of toothpaste out of your toothpaste tube. And nice and organized. Feel a nice little lift of your ribcage away from your hands, away from the bowl of your pelvis. And then bring your right hand, wrap it around your left rib cage. Your left hand wraps around your right rib cage. So you're giving yourself this nice little hug. And then with your hands, you can kind of cinch your side ribs in towards the center of your body. Then with your forearms, you can kind of compress your forearms into your front rib cage so that you feel nice and organized, like someone's giving you a nice tight hug. Let's cultivate some big 360 breaths here. Inhale through your nose, expand into your hands and your forearms. Exhale out. Inhale. And exhale. One more, inhale. And exhale. We'll be coming back to these hand and arm variations a lot throughout class today to help remind ourselves to stay organized, to stay light, so that we can tap into that deep core strength that we know that we have. All right, let's go ahead and get started. You're gonna roll down to your back, plant your feet into your mat, knees are facing up towards the ceiling, and let's tap back into that organization again. So we need to find a nice optimal neutral posture here. We'll do that by tapping into our triple S, skull, scapula, sacrum alignment. Lift your head up with your hands, slide your chin in towards your throat, and then keep your chin in and set the back of your head back down so that your skull is nice and neutral, your neck is nice and neutral. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit to reduce that rounding forward that we're all guilty of. And then with your tailbone, you want to find the sensation of a tuck. Hold that tuck and then press your sacrum back down into the ground, the back of your pelvis. So we're creating the sensation of a tuck, but really it puts us into neutral. Take your hands, press them into your thighs, and press your arms straight without shrugging up your shoulders. If they don't go straight, just move your feet a little bit farther away from you. And then bring right hand and left hand back to your rib cage, and your shoulder blades will pop up a little bit off the ground, but that's fine. Find that nice organized hug, pull to center, compress. Notice your whole rib cage connected to the ground right now. We're going to keep it connected to the ground as we lift up into our bridge. Take a giant inhale through your nose, press the back of your rib cage into the ground. Exhale, lift up into a low bridge pose. As you exhale, you can kind of press your forearms into your rib cage so that your rib cage stays connected to the ground, and it's just your pelvis, your glutes, and a little bit of your lower back that lift off the ground. Let your arms relax back by your sides, and right away we're charging up into our glutes here. The glutes are big stabilizers of the pelvis. The pelvis is a huge transference of energy, so we need to make sure that our pelvis is nice and stable for energy to flow freely. Wiggle your right foot towards the center of your mat and feel your right glute load a little bit more. Start by unweighting your left heel, and then without dropping your left hip, float your left knee over your left hip. Continue to lengthen your tailbone towards the front of your mat so you keep your sacrum nice and long. Bring your left fingertips into your left hip crease. And let's start to windshield wiper here. Do a little external, internal rotation of our hip, but your thigh stays vertical pretty much the whole time. It doesn't fall open. So I want to keep it nice and neutral here. Just a little external, internal rotation in that sagittal plane. Now, as we're doing this, your right glute is really charging up here. You really need to hold stable, hold strong. So try not to let there be any rocking from side to side. Really hold on to your glute strength. Really hold on to your deep core strength as well. And then you'll pause an external rotation. Flex your left foot. Take the back of your left heel and dig it into your right thigh. As you dig your left heel into your thigh, your right glute should respond by kicking on a little bit more. Now keep that activation. Reach your arms up into the air, spread your fingers nice and wide, and pull back on your left fingers to stretch out your wrists. Now you can keep your arms straight up above your head or straight up towards the ceiling, or you can bring your arms over your head a little bit. Just get a little bit more of a stretch. Charging into your right glute, still really rooting down through your right big toe. So we want to make sure that our wrists are nice and stretched out before we do any sort of weight bearing on our hands. Because a weight bearing requires some core strength, some core demand. Take one more breath on this side. And you can set your left foot back down, bring your arms back to your sides. Let's switch sides. Left foot wiggles towards center. Start by unweighting your right heel and then bring your right knee over your right hip. Plug your right fingertips into your right hip crease, and then you can start that same external internal rotation. But really hold your pelvis nice and strong. Connect to your core right away. Stabilize through your left glute. Really press down through your left big toe. Try this a couple times on this side, noticing if there's any differences. And then we'll pause in that external rotation, flex your right foot, dig your right heel into your left thigh to charge up your left glute, and stretch out your right wrist. And so in order for something to grow, for something to get stronger, stress, demand, more load needs to be put on that thing that you're trying to make stronger. So if you think about when somebody goes to the gym, they're not going to stay on the same weight the whole time. They got to change it up. They got to increase that weight, increase the load to then make whatever they're working on stronger. And so we'll do that with our core today. Put some stress, some demand, some extra load on our core so that it grows and gets stronger. We can make that deeper connection to our core. Go ahead, set your right foot down. Let your arms relax back by your sides. Pull the space below your belly button towards your back body. Keep that pulling sensation, and then lower all the way down until you feel your sacrum press into the ground. Interlace your hands behind your head. Cup your elbows in so that they're nice and close to your temples. Bring your legs over your hips. You can have a slight bend in your knees if you'd like. But with your core work and your breath work today, really focus on exhaling out completely and pulling your belly back as you exhale. The more that you empty out, the more access you're going to get to your deep, deep abdominals. So let's make that connection today. Take a giant breath in. Exhale, lift up off your shoulder blades. Really pull down into your sacrum to help lift you up. Lean your head back into your hands without lifting your chin or lowering your shoulder blades. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your right leg just a little bit without your sacrum popping off the ground. So you really need to make that deep core connection right away. Bring your right leg back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your left leg. Keep your sacrum pressing into the ground. Keep pulling your belly button towards your lower back. Bring your left leg back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your right leg. Now twist an inch to your left, but keep off your left shoulder blade. Elbows stay in to help you keep your left shoulder blade lifted. Everything comes back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your left leg. Twist to your right. Make your whole rib cage rotate with you. Bring everything back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your right leg. Twist to your left. Keep off your left shoulder blade. Now keep your legs the exact same. Twist your upper body to the right, rotating through your center, rotating through your core, your rib cage. Bring everything back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your left leg. Twist to your right. Keep off your right shoulder blade. Keep your legs as they are and twist your upper body to the left. Bring everything back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your right leg, twist to your left. Legs stay the same, twist your upper body to the right. Now switch your legs. Right leg lifts, left leg lowers. Come back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your left leg, twist to your right. Legs stay the same, twist to your left. Stay twisted left and now switch your legs. Left leg lifts, right leg lowers. Bring everything back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your right leg, twist to your left. Legs stay the same, twist to your right. Now switch your legs. Right leg lifts, left leg lowers. Now switch back to your left. Bring everything back to center. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up. Lower your left leg, twist to your right. Keep your legs as they are, twist to your left. Now switch your legs, left leg lifts, right leg lowers. And twist back to your right. Bring everything back to center. Inhale, lower one more time. Exhale, lift up. Lower your right leg, twist to your left. Keep your legs as they are, twist to your right. Switch your legs. Right leg lifts, left leg lowers. Twist back to your left. Switch your legs one more time. Left leg lifts, right leg lowers. Everything comes back to center. Inhale, lower last time. Exhale, lift up. Lower your left leg, twist to your right. Legs stay the same, twist to your left. Switch your legs. Left leg lifts, right leg lowers. Switch back to your right. Switch your legs one more time. Right leg lifts, left leg lowers. Everything comes back to center. Inhale, lower. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Thank you, KB, for that amazing core crusher series. It's my favorite. All right. Come on over to your quadruped pose, all fours. Shoulders stack over your wrists, hips stack over your knees. Hug your knees in kind of close to the backs of your hands. Have your knees about hips width distance apart. Really tap into that tautness that we just created in our core. So really pull your low belly up and back, almost like somebody has a really tight belt and they're tightening it on you. Slide your left leg back without changing anything in your core or your low back. Keep everything nice and long. Engage into your left glute. Keep your left toes facing the ground this whole time. You'll tap your left toes to the left, teeny tiny bit, and then come back to center. Tap to the left, back to center. So try this a few times, really holding on to your abdominal belt here, not kicking your right hip to the right. So it requires core control, core engagement. Not only is the core working, but your glutes are working as well. Shoulders are working. Everything's getting a little bit of demand. And then you can sweep your left leg all the way over to the left. Kind of line your left foot up with your right knee. And you'll shift forward and backwards a couple times, just focusing on creating a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of space in your inner thigh. Then you'll bring your left knee back underneath you. Switch your sides. Keep your triple S in line. Slide your right leg back, tighten into your right glute. And then you'll tap out and come back to center. Tap out, come back to center. So realistically, the only thing that should be moving here is your right leg, because we want to keep everything else nice and stable, nice and strong. Holding on to our core strength, holding on to our shoulder strength. And then sweep your right leg all the way to the right. And then you can start those adductor rocks again. Just shift forward and backwards a couple times. If you need to linger longer, you can definitely do that. You come back up, bring your right knee back underneath you. Drop down to your forearms. You can either interlace your fingers, keep your hands flat, or have your hands in fists, whatever you prefer. Look towards your thighs. Tuck your toes. Actively press down through your forearms to puff up between your shoulder blades. We'll head into dolphin here. Inhale. Exhale, dolphin pose. Lift your knees away from the ground. Tap into your triple S right away. You can have your heels lifted, knees bent, tailbone reaches up towards the sky. Pull that space below your belly button up towards the ceiling. So you get that feeling of lightness, that feeling of strength that we're tapping into in our Core Blast series today. Really press down through your forearms. Keep your shoulders nice and strong. We're putting demand on our shoulders here, which puts demand on our core. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Slowly start to lower down to your knees. You can take a little child's pose here. You can reach your arms forwards or backwards, whichever you prefer. Coming back to this idea of tapping into your inner core strength, your power. Our core corresponds with our Manipura chakra, or solar plexus chakra. And that governs our drive, our will, our power, our fire. So notice if you can really tap into that today. You know that you have that core strength within you. It's just a matter of igniting that fire throughout our practice today and tapping into that feeling of lightness so that you can move with ease around your mat. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. Very good. All right, go ahead and come up. You can set a block at both the right and left side of the top of your mat, because that's where we'll do our half moons. There are just a couple things that I want to demo before we get started. So the first thing is happy squat. So we'll be in a plank pose and we'll walk forward and backwards to our plank and our happy squat a couple times. So you'll walk your hands to your feet for your happy squat. Bend your knees, sit your butt back in space, spine stays nice and long, neck stays nice and long, and then you'll walk forward. So that's just the form for happy squat, just so that you know what I'm talking about when we come to it. And then the other thing, when we come to it, will be our runner stretch. So from a crescent lunge, we'll windmill to the back of our mat and come into our runner stretch. So we'll windmill, your fingertips will land, bend both of your knees, and then you'll pull your hips back in space. So this is your runner stretch. Gets nice little hamstring stretch, and you can pop your toes in front if you'd like, or you can keep them flat, but it does feel a little bit better to pop your toes. You choose though, just focus on keeping your spine long and staying nice and engaged in your core. So just a couple form things that I wanted to show you before we got started. You can always pause me and go back and try them if you'd like, but otherwise, let's go ahead and get started with our core blast. Here we go. Inhale, reach your arms straight forward and up. Get that lift of your rib cage. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Step your right foot back, lower your right knee underneath your hip, untuck your toes. Inhale, 90-90 lunge. Lift your ribs, lift your shoulders. Bring your right hand to your low belly, left hand to your sacrum. Sandwich those areas together just like we did before, finding that lightness, finding that organization for energy to flow. Plank pose, plant your hands, step your left foot back. Hold nice and strong in your plank. Lower to your knees, slowly lower with control, with your core engaged. Untuck your toes, inhale baby cobra, keep your elbows in, pull your belly away from the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, exhale, step your right foot forward. Lower your left knee, untuck your toes. Inhale, 90-90 lunge. Tighten your left glute. Bring your left hand to your low belly, right hand to your sacrum. Neutralize your pelvis, neutralize your spine. Plant your hands forward. Step your left foot up to meet your right, top of your mat. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge. Step your left foot back. Lower your left knee, toes can be tucked. Inhale, arms reach up. Press down and pull back with your right foot, forward with your left knee. Bring your right hand and your left hand to your hug, to your rib cage. Inhale, create space. Hold that space as you exhale. Plant your hands forward, step back, plank pose, nice long spine. Lower to your knees, keep your core engaged as you slowly lower with control. Untuck your toes, inhale, baby cobra. Keep the back of your neck long, chin in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Right knee pulls in. Inhale, 90-90 lunge. Arms reach up. Get that lift, that lightness up and out of your right knee. Right hand and left hand come to your rib cage. Inhale, create that space. Exhale out. Plant your hands forward. Step your right foot up to meet your left, top of your mat. Inhale, rise to stand. Arms reach up. Here we go, sequence one.